defensive responsibilities of a power forward are to be able to defend as a perimeter man against bigger people. Generally, a power forward is the man who guards the more active of the post players, and a lot of times this puts you in a position where you have to defend 15 to 18 feet and in. So you have to also have the versatility to be able to defend low post, plug things up, and secure rebounds.
Power forward has to be one of your top defenders, and is usually the top defenders in the post. In order to be one of the top defenders as a power forward, when you're talking about post defense, they love to take away this position right here. They will not allow that position. They love to put a guy actually out here 2 feet farther away from where they want to be. Why? Because most offensive players get the ball down in the blocks. That's where they practice from, isn't it? So you're going to get a big guy coming down the lane on offense, trying to cut to the blocks. Power forward's going to step in here and stop his progress. Going to chest him or bump him, stop his progress, not let him go and post exactly where they want to post. You never want to let anybody go exactly where they're used to going or where they want to go. Power forwards like to play this kind of defense. They have excellent post defensive skills. They're physically strong. Even if you're not physically big, you can become much better at being physically strong. They're mentally tough players. And usually they tend to be pretty quiet. They just like to go about their business, put their hard hat on, blue-collar workers. They just like to get in there and get in the dirt and get after it. They talk with their actions. They're enforcers. They don't let anybody push their team around. As a tough-minded defender, you have to know how to get a low post score out of the blocks. You initiate this by stopping their cut to where they want to go. You can do this in two ways. You can stop a high cut down to the low post, which means as they come down the lane, you're going to chest them or block their path to the blocks where the trenches are. Or you can stop a lane cut where they come opposite ball side. They come weak side to strong side, which is ball side, and stop their cut by chesting them or bodying them and not letting them go initially to the position they want, which is above the blocks in the trenches. When you stop the cut, you now force their flow of traffic to go up to a mid-post range or down below the blocks where they're not as effective as they normally would be. You have to control the trenches. You have to control the traffic and the movement through the lane for post players that want to score. You have to take them out of position. Another thing that is very important for a defender in the low post is you have to control the trenches. Now, the trenches constitute the space between the block and the low post and the third hash mark. The ideal place for a player to want to post up is to split the second hash mark with their feet and have their heels to the foul lane line without their feet being in the foul lane. As a low post player, if you are on defense, you want your feet to be outside the foul lane line with your heels on that line of the foul lane, not the offensive player. By controlling this area, this is what we call the trenches. By controlling this area, you now have automatically forced the low post scorer 2 to 3 feet farther away from the basket than where they normally set up and where they normally practice their scoring moves. When trying to score on offense, the same principle of controlling the trenches will apply. You want to have your feet split the second hash mark. You want your heels lined up to the foul lane line so that you are close to the basket, and you want to force the defender back into the foul lane area so that you have good post-up position. And of course, they take great pride in holding their opponents, again, under their scoring average. They love to do that. Here's a great example of holding your opponent under their normal scoring average. Your team is the Fairborn Flyers, and tonight you play against the Canyon Cougars. You're assigned to defend their top scorer, Sam, who averages 24 points per game. Now, you only average 10 points per game. Both the Flyers and the Cougars are averaging 80 points per game as a team. When you defend Sam, if you hold him to only 12 points, you will cut his scoring average by 12 points per game, but also the opposing team's scoring average by 12 points per game, or 15%. This means your team has a 15% higher chance of winning this basketball game. If you hold Sam to only 12 points, percentage average means that your team should win the game by a score of 80 to 68. Here's a second example. Let's say you cover Mike. Mike only scores an average of 11 points per game. But in this particular outing, you hold him to 6 points. That's 5 points less than what he's used to getting. Again, you've increased your team's opportunities to win a game just by holding him to half of his normal scoring average. Defense is something you have to take pride in, you have to use to dominate a game, and you have to use in order to control your opponent. Where the mind goes, the body will follow. And defense is the best way to take your opponent out of their rhythm, out of their game plan, and to win a basketball game. Who has to be the leader on the defensive end of the court? What players have to be the leaders?
Center and the power forward.
Center and the power forward. This is why. When you go from there to half court, who really has vision of the entire court? The 4 and the 5. You have to have court leadership on defense back here. It's critical. And that's when a power forward has to be verbal and has to be directing traffic.
Power forward, when you talk about rebounding, you have to have the power forward go to the basket and get some offensive boards. Now in our league, sometimes it's one shot and out if you don't have the big people and the people that are aggressive. So that power forward, 4-man, has to be aggressive. He has to go to the glass. He has to get some boards for us. If he's got putbacks, we go with the putbacks. If he doesn't, he needs to get it back out, and we get back into our offense and start running our offense again.
Let's talk about rebounding responsibilities. One thing you'll notice as we go through this with the power forward is that his responsibilities or her responsibilities are not very complicated, are they? They're pretty straightforward. They're very simple, but they're vitally important. For a power forward, this is the number one rule. It's a rule for rebounding that we use with all of our basketball players and that we teach all around the world. The rule is simple. When you get a position, you will get possession. When you're going to rebound the basketball, always get position first. You have 3 full seconds from the time a shot is taken to the time it will come off the rim and rebound to you. That is plenty of time to secure a rebound. Jumping over somebody's back is not hustle. It is not intelligent, and it is not a good play. However, hustling to get position to rebound and getting between you and your opponent, whether it be an offensive rebound or sealing your opponent for a defensive rebound, that is hustle, that is intelligent, that will get you statistics, that will get you rebounds, and that will get you points. Remember the rule for rebounding. When you get position, you will get possession. Great rebounders always assume that every shot will be missed. They always go to the offensive rebounds. They always go to the defensive boards. Every offensive rebound is worth a potential 2 points to your team because you're so close to the basket. You'll either score it or get fouled, put your opponent in foul trouble, which means you have somebody going to the bench. Power forwards are going to average 10 plus rebounds per game. It's what they like to do. It's their favorite thing. Offensive rebounding tips. Again, the rebounding rule. When you get position, you will get possession. Hustle to get into position. Number 2, when do you go to the offensive boards? Learn the tendencies of your teammates. When a pass is entered into the low post, do not wait for the ball to be put on the floor. Go get offensive position right then. Because either the post player will make a move or he'll kick it out for a 3-point shot off a catch and shoot, and it'll be too late if you wait till that happens. The ball goes into the post. Before it's dribbled, go to the boards. Third, when you have a perimeter player that puts the ball on the floor, go to the boards immediately. Take pride in rebounding, pride in offensive position, take pride in getting easy baskets from offensive rebounds. They must be excellent and aggressive rebounders. Power forwards typically are not going to pick up a foul reaching in. If they get a rebound, it's going to be fighting for position. And if you rebound on a power forward, an offensive rebound, it infuriates them because that's their pride and joy. If you get an offensive rebound on a power forward, it really lights their fire up.